We pick up Timmy where we left him, around 12:20 p.m., trying to decide what to do with the rest of his day. His brother Tommy was getting ready to go to work at the video store, and Timmy suddenly remembered something his friend Nick said on Saturday.
Oh yeah, the game news store totally has PC games. They're just tucked in the corner in the back. Hey, big bro, do you mind if I tag along? I want to check out the used game store for PC games. Nick told me they should have some. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't want the company backing down. You really took a shine to computer gaming, huh?
Said Tommy with a mixed sense of curiosity and pride for his younger brother.
Yeah, I don't know why, but something about the depth of it is just really intriguing to me. I even started reading a textbook about how to make my own video game. Wait, you mean like from scratch? That's crazy. What kind of game are you making? Well, I just started reading the book, but I think it'll be a flight simulator. It's a game where you like pilot your own plane. Whoa, that sounds crazy hard. Can I be the first one to try it out when it's done? Of course. But that's not gonna be for a long, long time, I think. Anyways, let me grab my wallet and I'm ready to head out.
Timmy and Tommy give their mom a kiss, climb on their bikes, and headed downtown. If such can be called the smattering of commercial buildings within the incorporated confines of Arkport. Tommy waved goodbye as he entered the back of the video store to start his shift. Timmy continued on and parked his bike in front of the local game store. Timmy was relieved to see the face of Mr. Anderson after walking into the door. Sometimes a high schooler would be managing the store, and it was so hard to get them to take you seriously. Mr. Thompson always listened to you, as long as you asked politely and waited for your turn, and all the kids loved him because of it. It also helped that, compared to most adults, Mr. Anderson gave off a different vibe, one that just made you trust him more easily. Timmy approached the counter.
Hey, Timmy, what's chillin'? You here looking for a specific banger or just browsing? Hey, Mr. Anderson, is it true you also have PC games in the store? Totally, dude. We got some in the back corner of the store. Let me know if you need my help to find a bitch in one. Thanks, Mr. Henderson. I'm not looking for a specific one. Just browsing.
Rad. At which point Anderson turned around to assist some other customer. Timmy made his way to the back of the store and stumbled upon the PC games bin.
Whoa, look at all these games. We're in the USA Skirmin San Diego. That sounds like one that's gonna teach you stuff. Mad Blaster, that looks like learning too. Bart's Tale 3. This could be cool, but it's the third one. Maybe I should start with number 1. An Indiana Jones game? Oh, I bet it's so good. Oh, there's lots of D&D games too. Waterloo. Oh, I bet this is like battles and stuff like that. Out of this world. Prince of Persia. I only have 26 bucks. I mean, some of these look cool, but they're expensive, especially the newer ones. And I have so many games to play already that I've barely scratched the surface of. Yeah, I'll keep some of these in mind. Prince of Persia looks very cool. Indiana Jones must be a good time. Oh, but I could also be like the last ninja. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe after I mow a lawn or two, I might be able to like get one of these. At least one of the cheap ones. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Well, bye for now, games, I guess. I'll see some of you pretty soon.
Having decided none of the games were interesting enough to be worth an impulse purchase, Timmy thanked Mr. Anderson and went to the next door ice cream parlor. He got himself a cone, chocolate and strawberry, his favorite flavors, spending 50 cents for it. And started slowly eating it while carrying his bike with one hand. Timmy was finding himself without any prospects on this hot summer day. As he was pondering what to do with himself, he realized he had subconsciously made this choice already, as he had been slowly making his way toward the library.
I got really mad at Shadowgate last week. I wonder if the library has the handbook available for checkout.
Having formed a plan and finished his ice cream, Timmy hopped on his bike and covered the remaining distance to the Arkport Library. He greeted Mr. Potter, stalwart guardian of these paper halls and master of all its contents.
Hi, Mr. Potter. How's your day been? Oh, hi, Timmy. Pretty good so far. Pretty good. Nothing like staying in a nice air-conditioned library on a hot summer day, right? And how are you doing on this fine day? I'm good, thanks. I had a quick question. Do you carry any video game handbooks? Like game guides and stuff? Let me think about it for a second,
Said Mr. Potter.
Based on what they're about, they're probably under games.
At this point, Mr. Potter opened a very, very, very long drawer in the shelves behind him.
And indoor games of skills. And probably electronic games. So they're classified under 794.8, which means you should find them upstairs on the first set of shelves on your left. Look for the 794 numbering on the racks and the 794.8 on the shelves. Do you need help finding it? Oh, no thank you, Mr. Potter. I should be able to figure it out. I like a good treasure hunting challenge after all. Don't we all, Timmy? Don't we all? In that case, happy reading,
Said Mr. Potter before going back to his catalog. On his way to the hint books, Timmy walked right by the magazine aisle.
Oh, they got a new magazine since the last time I came.
Timmy thought.
I guess I don't need to rush to the hint book section.
At which point, Timmy grabbed the magazine, which happened to be the latest issue of Gamepro, and sat in a nearby alcove to get some reading done.
Alright, let's see what this magazine is all about. GamePro, #1 video game magazine. We've got Yoshi's Cookie. Free special section Star Wars on the Super NES. Ooh, that sounds cool. Championship Pro AM, Sorcerer Kingdom, Jeopardy, Rolling Thunder 3. Al Michael announces Hardball 3, RBI 93 for the Genesis.
Timmy suddenly loudly exclaimed,
Jason!
then remembered where he was and looked around. Thankfully, not a lot of people were at the library on a Monday afternoon, so Timmy only had to accept a judgy look from an old lady reading a newspaper a couple of tables away. Timmy promptly, but quietly, whispered,
Sorry.
which the old lady seemed to accept as penance appropriate to the seriousness of the crime, at which point she went back to mind her own business.
I forgot all about Jason's invite. I won't be able to go see him if I'm spending the whole day with Tommy tomorrow.
The mention of the Sega Genesis in the magazine had, in fact, awakened Timmy's memory to the phone call he had last week, where he had tentatively agreed to go visit his friend Jason on Tuesday. Timmy decided to call Jason when he'd get home, so he could apologize and reschedule, and went right back into reading the issue at hand.
So we got Alien 3 for the Super Nintendo, Aliens vs. Predator, Mario's missing. Oh yeah, it was that bad Mario game. Pugly Scavenger Hunt, Battletoads Double Dragon, The Ultimate Team, Strat Truck game. Mr. Nicholas is not in charge of driver Zed. Oh, see, because the golf thing is called the driver. Oh, that's smart. That's smart. Whoa. This would be great to play Street Fighter. You get turbo speed, you got auto turbo. Wow. Oh, man. Super Mario Bros. Movie was so cool. So glad I got to see it. Get in touch with virtual reality. Letter from the Game Pros. Now that 16-bit video game systems have become the de facto standard, what's next on the horizon? It may cost you $1 to find out. Look at what's in this issue of GamePro to figure out why. Maybe it isn't official and the action in retail outlets is still respectable, but game developers have spoken. The NES is on its last legs. However, Battletoads Double Dragon, The Ultimate Team, and Yoshi's Cookie demonstrate that companies that make the effort can produce quality games. However, after those two games, the list of up-and-coming NES carts has tailed off dramatically. Currently, 16-bit systems dominate the video game scene in your gaming book. They're fun, but fast becoming formulaic. For example, the Genesis enjoys Street Fighter II Champion Edition, Rolling Thunder 3, Echo the Dolphin, Hardball 3, and RBI 93. The SNES is well represented by Aliens vs. Predator, Super Widget, Wing Commander, and, of course, Star Wars. These are all great games, but are very familiar in concept and design. There is no doubt that CDs are the medium of home video gaming's future, even if they've gotten off to a slow start. The Terminator and Batman Returns demonstrate that Sega CD games can be capable and even display flashes of brilliance, as we've come to expect thanks to those excellent Sega TV commercials. But clearly, Sega CD game development has yet to hit its stride. The duo also continues to tantalize and yet to struggle. Esoteric, innovative titles such as Sim Earth are truly commendable. However, something like Street Fighter II makes its way from Japan, the duo will toil without the critical fanfare it needs. If you want outrageous action, keep an eye out on your local arcades. Scope out Horned 1 and Galaxian 3 in the cutting edge and consider the possibilities. These awesome game machines qualify as virtual reality games in the broad sense of the word, but they take you places, in space and on Earth, that you've never been before. They clearly demonstrate how top-quality software, hardware, and imagination can create an interactive experience. Home systems are firmly set in a 16-bit universe. For a glimpse of things to come, you gotta get out of the house. You want it? You got it. GamePro has a new look. We're trying to pack the magazine with even more hot info about video games because you demand it. You wanted more game screens but the usual in-depth analysis of games? Check out the New Look Pro reviews. You want more strategy tips and tricks? We dissected Star Wars, SNES, and Echo the Dolphin Genesis. You wanted more info about upcoming games? Study the new Pro Shots. You wanted a greater voice in the magazine? Enjoy the new mail section. GamePro is constantly evolving according to your ideas. Thanks for the help. You want more? Just ask. RBI Baseball 93. Gentlemen, start your screaming. Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo. Oh yeah, I played at John's. It was fun. Hard, but fun. The mail. Dear Lame Pro Editor, are you jealous of Ask Me Where's employee Jeff Rabies, who has a Lame Pro license plate? You should be. Enclosed, please find a picture of it. Thank you for the started up hint for Super Mario World. We have heard rumors of this hint for some time, but we're not able to make it happen. The detailed steps given in your SNOT Pro section were most helpful. Ask Me Entertainment Software. Well, that's weird. Okay. Is it real or is it virtual? I've been closely watching the development of virtual reality technology, and I was very interested in what I read in the April issue of GamePro concerning Sega's Virtual VR for the Genesis. I would like to know how much this unit will cost, And is it going to be identical to the arcade system? John Melito, Newtley, New Jersey. Sega's virtual VR peripheral, see Cutting Edge, April 93, should be on the shelves this fall. The device, which Sega says will retail for less than $200, will try to closely replicate the arcade virtual experience. We're not sure what that means exactly, but we do know that there will be initially 4 games available for the system. Titles aren't set yet, but the categories are racing, driving, action-adventure, and flight simulation. We'll have more info real soon. Hack and slash. Sonic Mystery. I'm confused, and that's an understatement. For Christmas, I received Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Genesis. Since then, I've finished the game a number of times, with and without the Cast Emeralds. In the November issue of Gamepro and in another video game publication, I saw pictures of a zone that never appears in my version of Sonic 2. Plus, you mentioned some zones, like Dust Hill Zone, that I've never heard of. What's the story? How can I reach these other zones? Matt Lane, Randleman, North Carolina. Sorry, Matt, but as far as we know, you can reach these zones. In the original version of Sonic 2 that Sega showed to us, there were several zones that didn't make it into the final game. One of these zones was the Hidden Palace Zone, and another was a desert-like zone with cacti. As for the names, Sega changed some of the names of the different zones in the final version. Maybe we'll get to see some of these other zones in a future Sonic adventure. Earth Angel. I want my NES! I'm a real video game freak and I'm worried about my NES. Are game companies gonna stop making games for the original Nintendo? Jesse Guerrero, Aurora, Colorado. Over time, it's likely that we're going to see fewer games released for the NES system. Although Nintendo of America reports that NES hardware and software still sell quite well, the majority of game companies have shifted their focus to the 16-bit SNES and the new CD formats. As long as game companies continue to make money with NES games, we can expect to see new titles, like DuckTales 2 and Mighty Final Fight from Capcom, and Battletoads Double Dragon from Tradewest, all scheduled for '93. Also, of course, die-hard NES gamers still have an existing library of games to choose from that includes hundreds and hundreds of classic titles. The old NES has some little life left in it yet. Unknown Gamer. Video game violence. I don't understand Nintendo's crusade to eliminate gory violence from video games. My friend and I are big fans of Mortal Kombat in the arcades, which is one of the goriest games I've seen so far. Since Capcom had to subdue the violence in Street Fighter 2, there's no way that all the gore and finishing maneuvers found in the arcades version of Mortal Kombat are going to be translated to the Super Nintendo version. While I don't think Nintendo is going to change its mind, perhaps there is an alternative. I propose that companies put a code into the home versions of their games that will enable gamers to choose whether they want to play in bloody modes. This code could be in instruction manuals, and concerned parents could keep the code away from their children. Those of us who are old enough to make the decision for ourselves should be able to. Ryan Orikuya, Power River, Canada. Can't believe that you guys printed the PAVV's top 5 most violent games, plus their suggestion that these games should be boycotted. See page 194 of the March 93 issue. I've played Pigskin Foot Brawl, listed as number 3, and I think it's a humorous game. Maybe a bit criminal in nature, but that's the point. I'm not going to get into ethics and stuff like that, but don't give in to such ridiculous parental groups who think they know better. Don Valancourt, Miss Canada. Violence in video games is an issue that's here to stay, and it elicits strong opinions, both pro and con. Keep those letters coming. We'll be discussing it here at GamePro for some time to come. Scary Larry. Gee, that sounds like punting on it, right? They're not really saying what they think about it. They're just letting people write in. Stupid. Tips books. Several years ago, I bought a book for the NES that had over 2,000 tips, tactics, and secret passwords, which are organized alphabetically by game name. The book is by GamePro, and I love it. I'm wondering if you've ever made Super Nintendo or Genesis versions of the book? If not, I really think you should. Willie Pruitt, Toledo, Ohio. You're in luck, Willie. To order Sega Genesis Game Secret's Greatest Tips, see page 160. The Super Nintendo version of the book will be available this summer. Slow-mo. Chun-Li ought to be in pictures. Is there going to be a Street Fighter 2 movie? Matt Stradley, Fremont, California. As we go to print, a Street Fighter 2 movie is under negotiation. Capcom says it's likely that the film will be a live-action movie similar to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles flicks. However, to date, nothing's been signed on the dotted line. Dr. Dave. Street Fighter Rapid. Street Fighter is the game. If you lose your fame. Reese the Gat, Gallon Can are the players that make me win. Fireball, Tiger, Sonic Boom, on Turbo, the speed is Zoom. Balrog has a glove, Vega has a claw. If Blind Cat gets mad, he does a rolling ball. The uppercut in the air, Zangief is a bear. Rhea stuff, so is Ken, the hardest of all is M. Bison. M. Bison has a sister knee, but my homegirl is Chun-Li. Rubber arm is real cheap, you do this, you get beat. Gal has a razor, Sagat has a knee, you do this, you bitch Chun-Li. Shenlong has a lot of flair, he taught Ken and Ryu to fight everywhere. Yoga Noogie, Yoga Flame, this is how you play the game. Kyle Robertson, Arlington, Texas. Hey Kyle, your rap was real cool. We all read it. You're no fool. Okay, so we obviously aren't good at this, but send us your poems, pictures, and other creative ideas, and we'll print them in the magazine. Boss Music. Oh, Gamepro's rating system. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. Graphics. Judges the overall artistic quality of sprites, animation, and background scenery. Sound. Critiques music and sound effects. Control. Rates how smoothly the control pad commands and the game's interface turn you onto the on-screen action and fun. Fun factor. Are you going to have a good time? Challenge. This is the average skill level necessary to play the game. When you can pick skill levels, we'll able challenge adjustable. Gamepro's rating system. 5 equals outstanding, 4 is a great job, 3 is good job, 2 okay but could be better, 1 wake me up when it's over. The Cutting Edge by The Wiz. Magic Edge takes off with Hornet. It's no military secret that for years jet aces in the US Armed Forces have been flying highly advanced flight simulators through virtual skies. Now you may get the chance to soar after their vapor trails. Silicon Graphics, a computer graphics powerhouse, teamed up with Magic Edge, an interactive entertainment company, to link a high-performance graphics workstation to a virtual reality flight simulator called Hornet 1. Fly with the pros. The Hornet 1 duplicates the supersonic attack characteristics of the F-A-18 Hornet, which in real life spearheads US Navy and Marine Corps fighter attack units. Magic Edge built a full-scale fiberglass pod, which is 7.5 foot wide by 12.5 feet long by 7 feet high. The cockpit features all the trappings of an F-18 Hornet fighter jet. You control the simulator with a joystick and a throttle. All the vital readouts appear on a 40-inch heads-up display, HUD. The Sony rear projection system flashes the images on the screen. Strap in, because 6 50-horsepower hydraulic lifters rock and roll the 2-ton pod through an impressive range of motions. 45-degree pitches up, 60-degree rolls, and 30 inches of vertical movement. The flight characteristics and the combat missions are based on a fighter pilot game by Paradigm Simulation. The game was created with multi-engine development software from Software Systems. The Silicon Graphics Reality Engine graphics system paints the graphics which, according to Magic Edge, create a fully immersive VR flying experience similar to those in advanced military flight simulators. The Reality Engine plugs into a Silicon Graphics Iris Power supercomputer, which is SG's top-of-the-line graphics unit. The Iris Power has previously been used to generate imagery for complex training simulators for aircraft, cars, and ships. It muscles up with 256 megabytes of memory, more than 100 gigabytes of hard disk storage, and a memory transfer rate of 400 megabytes per second. Is that graphics power? You bet! You've probably already seen big screen magic conjured up by SG's computer in Terminator 2, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. 100 gigabytes of hard disk storage? Whoa. Just whoa. The Hornet's Nest. Magic Edge plans to establish Hornet 1 game centers around the country by November 93, starting with one in Mountain View, California. Up to 6 Hornets can be linked to one computer, although Magic Edge believes that the ideal setup will feature at least 12 Hornets. To enhance the VR experience, the centers will be dressed up with all the trappings of a combat-ready aircraft carrier jet hangar. As a group, VR jet jockeys will receive pre-flight instructions and mission objectives from a squadron commander. Flyers will then don flight suits and take off. During the mission, the commander can monitor each Hornet's screen from a command center and he'll be in constant radio communication with all the flyers. In addition, all the pilots wear headsets and a hot mic to communicate with each other. The 4-channel surround sound audio system pumps the vocals and special effects through the cockpit. Although the squadron will have established mission objectives, lone wolf hotshots can fly off into virtual skies alone, with the squadron commander barking in their ears. The 15-20 minute long missions, according to Magic Edge, will involve attacks on ground-based targets as well as dogfights against enemy aircraft. Mission debriefing. After completing a mission and landing back at the carrier, the pilots will meet at the debriefing area to tell tall tales and endure a mission critique by squadron commander. Pilots can then practice specific maneuvers or scenarios at skill stations, which will be set up in another section of the Magic Edge Entertainment Center. These stations may simply be a monitor and a joystick, or they may be actual scaled-down versions of the Hornet 1 cockpit. Takeoff! The Hornet 1 sounds like it's set up for a big-time jet combat. Gamepro has Hornet 1 flight time schedule. Expect a mission report in the next issue. Galaxian 3, gaming on a galactic scale. Man your battle station, Game Pros. Our kids everywhere are in serious danger of being invaded by the most awesome outer space shoot-'em-up in the galaxy. Galaxian 3 by Namco Limited has serious rights to the overused claim of taking gamers where no game has gone before. Seed of Disaster. In the distant future, the mother planet has lost contact with its planets in a remote region of the galaxy. The United Galaxy Space Force, UGSF, has been sent to investigate the mysterious loss of communications. They found a monstrous planet-clubbering weapon, the Cannon Seed, moving inexorably toward the mother planet. They sent a call out for the UGSF's #1 spaceship, the Dragoon, and its top 6 gunners. Of course, it takes a few yen for you to acquire top gunner ranking, but you get the picture. And the picture here is impressive. Great guns. Galaxian 3 is a huge self-contained 6-player sit-down arcade unit. Each player mans a gun control station which faces 2 gigantic 110-inch screens. The 4-channel stereo system belts out ear-numbing audio effects as 2 Sony overhead projection cameras send you into a wild, mind-bending space battle. The Dragoon's battle stations are color-coded and each unit flashes similarly colored crosshairs on the huge screen. To zero in on a target, you swivel your gun to whip the crosshairs around the screen. Gunners must coordinate their firepower in order to sweep through a squadron of alien fighters or focus enough energy to blast a massive enemy vessel. So real it hurts. Galaxian 3 qualifies only loosely as virtual reality game because 6 players share the same hardware. However, the screens are so massive and the sound so pervasive that you really feel like you're living through the space battle of your life. This game's graphics are positively awe-inspiring. Fleets of enemy warships fly at you from all areas of the screen. Gigantic dreadnoughts rumble straight at you and, hopefully, explode in your face. You fly through planet atmospheres and take a stomach-jerking ride inside a huge enemy vessel. If you don't like roller coasters, stay away from this game. There's no doubt that Galaxian's mesmerizing visual effects and its big screen impact will scare the socks off little kids and the faint-hearted. Big, bigger. The 6-player Galaxian 3 arcade system is huge by American standards, but in Japan, it's peanuts. Namco has a gargantuan 28-player version installed as its theme park, Wonder Eggs, in Fuyako Tamagawa. The 360-degree screen surrounds 2 tiers of gamers, while 16 video projectors flash the Dragoon saga on the screen. Out of this world. Galaxian 3 propels arcade games to new heights. If you're looking to lose yourself in a game, this could be it. I don't know, these arcade games seem very expensive to play. I don't know that I want to spend more than a quarter at a time to play a game. Let's rumble! Oh, man. You got Ric Flair, you got The Undertaker, Yokozuna, Razor Ramon, Bret Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Macho Man Randy Savage. How to the Arcades by Hack and Slash. What could Capcom possibly do to follow up Street Fighter 2? For starters, they're going to try to lure gamers into the ring for some 4-player head-to-head met-pounding wrestling action. Slam Masters by Capcom. Yeah, but if they're not real wrestlers, then what's the point? sweep through the shadows, and go wild in the aisle. Oh, this is a contest. Shadowrun. Oh, that looks pretty good. It's seen in GamePro. I think that's like a 4.55. Watch your back, shoot straight, and never ever cut a deal with the dragon. Nintendo Pro Review, Battletoads Double Dragon The Ultimate Team. In the original Battletoads for the NES, the Toads gave the Dark Queen a major headache on Ragnarok's world. Now she's back to return the favor, but this time she's joined forces with the vile shadow boss of Double Dragon fame, and together they plan to enslave the Earth. There's only one thing for the web-footed heroes to do: put out a call to the Double Dragon brothers, Jimmy and Billy Lee. Teaming the Battletoads with the Double Dragon boys seemed like a surefire way to pump up sagging interest in the NES. The concept is great, but the execution is a little ragged in some areas. Get ready to ribbit and rumble! Battletoads Double Dragon is a Fist of Fury beat-em-up. One or two fighters can play, and they can be any Toad or Libro. Rash, Zitz, Pimple, Jimmy, or Billy. Professor T-Bird is also back as your mean-tempered team leader. The side view multi-scrolling adventure leads you through 8 treacherous levels inside the Colossus on Earth, and finally the Dark Queen's spaceship. With just 3 continues, this game is a worthy NES workout. Moreover, since there are no passwords, you're in for the long haul. Clubbering time. As you might expect, this game doesn't skimp on the action. You must wade through a never-ending army of goons from the original Battletoads and Double Dragon games. Robomanus, General Slaughter, and Scuzz the Rat team up with Roper, Linda Lash, and Lopar. If you don't know these creeps, understand that they're major league bad news to NES fist fighters, and get yourself a video store to rent the original NES games. To beat off the evil gang, the Toads and Dragons pack an awesome arsenal of fighting techniques. The 11 Battletoads move feature creature-pounding effects such as the Kiss My Fist and the Big Bad Boot. The Lee Bros pull their familiar load-and repertoire of 12 mean moves: kicks, punches, and hair-grabbing throws, including the twisting Typhoon Kick and the Earthquake Elbow Smash. Any character can body slam a bad guy and pick up loose objects to use as weapons. Considering the massive repertoire of rough-and-tumble moves, the controls do a good job. One slight hitch is the button mashing it sometimes takes to counter a sneak attack. Pro tip: one way to bust up a Bobo at the end of level 1 is to back him up against the edge of the screen and pummel him. You move forward with each blow, so be prepared to step back sadly after 3 sets of blows. If you don't step back, he'll get behind you. Graphics and sounds, lean and green. The game's look will be familiar to Double Dragon disciples, but it'll make the Battletoads brood want to croak. The overall design, including background and cinema scenes, doesn't have the same pizzazz found in the original NES Battletoads. Instead, it tends to follow the more traditional route of the Double Dragon pics: a flat 2D appearance and almost robotic animation. Parts of the sprites disappear in blocks during hectic fighting scenes, and the colors aren't as vibrant as those in either of the original carts. The graphics are underpowered, but the visuals manage to grow on you thanks to some totally cool-looking fighting techniques and acrobatic moves. You can see how graphic design for this game must have absolutely jumped off the drawing board. The Lee Boys do their famous hair-pulling, knee-jerk face smashers. The Toads come on with their cartoony, oversized fist monster punches and big boot frog kicks. Smart-looking special moves include a stomping technique, where your character uses a staff to literally pound a bad guy through the floor. An additional graphic punch comes from the fast-moving speeder bike races and mean-looking boss characters, such as Abobo, Big Blag, and the Dark Queen. You'll simply crack up when your heroes pull an outrageous drop-jaw bug-eyed gawk whenever a boss appears. The sound have a frog in their throat. The effects are okay but mild. At least the music has plenty of energy. The NES fights back. This is a game you want to like. These guys make a great team and they've fired up a rousing fighting adventure. If you can't live with the graphics, Battletoads Double Dragon makes the NES a mean and green fighting machine. Graphics 3.5, sound 3.5, control 4, fun factor 4 out of 5, challenge intermediate. Available June. Oh, that's interesting. I remember that video game and computer entertainment seemed to be a lot, to like it a lot more. I remember like 9s across the board. Here, they seem to be a bit more mild on it. Game Boy Pro Review, Battletoads 2 in Ragnarok's World. What's black and white with warts all over? Well, how about the Battletoads Game Boy style? America's Bad Amphibians are at it again in a new Game Boy adventure that's going to give you a heavy-duty case of deja vu. Hop on down. The first thing the Toad aficionados are going to notice about Battletoads 2 for the Game Boy is that it's actually a black and white version of the original Battletoads for the NES. The good news is that the original Battletoads is a great game. The bad news is that fans of the web-footed trio aren't going to find anything new here except perhaps a severe case of eye strain. Battletoads in Ragnarok's World is a one-player action game with arcade-style hack-and-slash gameplay. This time around, Zitz and Princess Angelica have been captured by the Dark Queen. Pimple and Rash have to rescue the duo from the Dark Queen's homeworld, Ragnarok's World. As one of the Clarisil kids, you face an 8-level journey across Ragnarok's World. You'll hop across the planet's surface, rappel down a cliff, slip and slide across an ice cavern, butt heads with some speeder bikes, and fight a final confrontation in the Queen's Tower of Shadows. Sound familiar? Get mad, get bad, get even. Each level's enemies, the same cast and crew of rodents, psycho pigs, and other rabble that star in Battletoads, are nicely detailed copies of the original game. The problem is, they're too nicely detailed and tend to blend into the backgrounds, which makes tiny objects almost invisible on the small Game Boy screen. What worked on the NES doesn't have enough contrast to be clearly visible on the Game Boy. Just try to find the ball to throw at the Walker at the end of level 1. Although it's not as challenging as the NES version, Ragnarok's World has all the great gameplay that made the Battletoads a kick. The two button controller makes maneuvering simple. Button B is hitting and kicking, and button A is for jumping. Repeated punching or kicking still pulls off the big boot, an impressive kick that sends enemies to the showers. The Toads can also grab weapons dropped by defeated foes to whack the remaining bad guys. Worrisome warts. Trade West and Rare have a great thing going with the Toads. However, most gamers that hop on down to the store are going to be looking for a new pawn to play in. Gamers who haven't seen the NES version will probably enjoy the original game more than this Game Boy tadpole. The first Game Boy Battletoads cart was really hot. Here's hoping that Battletoads 3 for the Game Boy will be just as cool as Battletoads 1. Hopping. Yeah, I don't really care about Double Dragon. Oh, there's an exclusive sneak peek at a cartoon show. Our story starts at the local shop Stop and Scarf in Oxnard, California. Hey, check out my score! Meet 3 of the biggest losers in Waldo P. Oxnard Junior High School. If only real life were like this, battling alien monsters, rocketing between galaxies. Right, and we'd still be the 3 biggest losers in the universe. Suddenly. Yikes! Greetings, Earthlings. Do not fear us. I am Professor T-Bird, and this is Princess Angelica from the planet Cagilon. We seek sanctuary on your planet from the Dark Queen. I beg you to help us. I can see that you are wise, handsome, noble members of your planet's race. I ask you to come on the adventure of a lifetime by becoming the most legendary warriors in the universe. Will you join me? Yeah, sure. Very good. Prepare for a taste of Toad Essence. The 3 nerds are instantly transformed into Toads. More specifically, Zitz, Rash, Pimple. You are now the Battletoads. But not for long. Who's that? It's the Dark Queen. I've come for the girl, T-Bird. Forget it, lady. Let's rock. Whoa, so are the Battletoads like actual humans? I should read that manual more carefully. I don't remember that being part of it. Genesis Pro Strategy Guide, Echoed Dolphin. And I'm sure that this is Maybe Jason would be interested in this. I'll mention to him the library and stuff when I go to his place tomorrow, but yeah, not for me. Yoshi's Cookie cover feature. Bulletproof software helped Tetris immigrate here from Russia, and it became the all-time classic puzzle game. Yoshi's Cookie is a Tetris hybrid with some entirely different twists. Yoshi's Cookie is a fast-paced, match-the-shapes SNES puzzle game starring Mario, Yoshi, and several other characters on loan from Nintendo's Mario World. This time, the shapes you shift are cookies. Right, Yoshi's Cookies. The way the cookie crumbles. You start out with a random assortment of cookies lined up in rows and columns in an enclosed playing field. To make cookies disappear, you must move an entire rows or columns, up, down, left, or right, until you've successfully lined up 5 identical cookies. The cookies come in classic forms such as hearts, halves and halves, jelly centers, and donuts. No chocolate chips, but the cookies still look tasty enough to give you the munchies. However, you'd better think with your brain and not your stomach when you're playing this game, because this cart offers 3 challenging game modes: Action, Puzzle, and Versus. Action is the basic game. You eliminate rows and columns of cookies, and as more rows and columns slide endlessly from the top and right ends of the screen. Puzzle mode was concocted by Alexei Pajitnov, the creator of Tetris. It's a tough, brain-spinning Yoshi's Cookie variation for players who enjoy problem-solving but don't like the pressure of cookies closing in on them. There are 100 puzzles to solve in 10 sets. To solve each puzzle, you use a set number of moves to rearrange a jumbled set of cookies and clear them off the screen. Puzzles start off easy, but the complexity quickly escalates. As an added incentive, each set you clear reveals part of a special graphic of Mario and Yoshi. If you prefer a little competition with your cookies, the Versus mode is where the action is. Here you match cookies and wits 1-on-1 in a best-of-3 contest against a computer or a friend. 2 5x5 playing fields appear on screen. Completing a line in your field adds 1 point to your point meter. He who fills up his point meter first wins the match. Crunch time. Versus bumps the challenge of Yoshi's Cookie to manic proportions, but it's a kick and a half, particularly when you play a friend. First, you select one of 4 characters from Mario Land: Mario, Yoshi, Princess, or Bowser. Each character has attack and defense strengths and weaknesses. A few cookie clashes will reveal effective strategies for each opponent. During the Versus contest, Yoshi cookies drop onto the game's regular batch. This adds a slick bit of strategy and mean streak to the game by enabling you to wreak havoc on your opponent's playing field. Each time you complete a line of regular cookies, 1 Yoshi icon appears in your playing field. Lining up 5 Yoshis activates 7 sinister cookie-crunching moves called attacks. The currently available attack appears in a display window. The game randomly selects the type of attack you can activate at any one time. The cookie attacks feature wicked control-grabbing maneuvers that will make your opponent's blood boil and will bake your own brain cells, because you can also attack yourself by accident. The panic attack scrambles all the cookies on your opponent's screen. Slave enables you to control your opponent's cursor. Blind plasters a 3x3 grid of question marks smack dab in the middle of your opponent's screen. Shell tosses a turtle shell into the cookies, which you can only remove by lining it up with 4 Yoshi icons. Looks good enough to eat. The graphics in this cart are true to the design of Super Mario World and Super Mario Kart, which makes them familiar, friendly, and fun. In fact, Yoshi's Cookie almost looks like just another weird area in Super Mario World. The sounds, too, are strictly Mario-esque, which means they're cute and generally ear-pleasing. You can pick your tunes whenever you play the action or the versus modes. Or you can turn the music off, always a welcome option. Just desserts. The power puzzlers are to keep the best and brightest occupied for days, at least until Super Tetris drops in from Japan. If you have an appetite for thought-provoking puzzle games, throw down on Yoshi's Cookie. It is no piece of cake. Graphics 4, sound 4, control 4, fun factor 5 out of 5, challenge intermediate. Yoshi's Cookie is also available for the NES and Game Boy. Here's a preview of these 2 puzzlers by Nintendo. Yoshi's Cookie NES. Yoshi's Cookie NES could be a sweet addition to the lineup of NES games. As in the SNES version, your task is to match the cookies in rows and columns, which clears them from the screen. It only takes 5 identical cookies next to each other to make them vanish. The NES game features two game modes, Action and Versus. Single-player Action mode is the basic Yoshi's Cookie game. You get 100 games, 10 rounds with 10 sets per round. The rows and columns of cookies come at you alternately from the top and right sides of the screen. As you progress through the game, the cookies come at you faster and faster. Stick it out. If you complete game 100, you earn a reward, a 99-round expert's game. This time, however, you don't play with cookies. Instead, you're faced with rows and columns of Mario Land characters. The two-player versus mode is a race to see who can clear 25 lines of cookies first. You can view your game and your opponent's game simultaneously with side-by-side playing fields. As in the Super Nintendo version, we have various attacks at your disposal, including Blind, Panic, and Slave. Additionally, you can subtract points from your opponent's point meter by lining up 5 Yoshi's cookies in a row. However, you can only play a versus game against a human opponent. If you think there are no good new games for the NES, you might want to eat Yoshi's cookie. It kind of sounds like worse in every way than the Super Nintendo version, so good to know. Yoshi's Cookie Game Boy. Yoshi's Cookie for the Game Boy is the same game as the NES version. It does have the added unique Game Boy ability of linking 4 players. With the Game Boy version, you can play a versus game against the computer, unlike the NES version that limits you to flesh and blood opponents. Also, you can play as Mario, Yoshi, the Princess, or Bowser. Multiplayer games are where this cookie will shine. As in the NES version, you play to clear 25 lines of cookies, and you can sabotage any player's game with Yoshi's Cookie attacks. Of course, 4 players mean 4 times the fun. Although you only view your own playing field and not your opponent's, a small display lists your opponent's names next to their corresponding point meters, which indicate how close each player is getting to the 25-line winning score. If someone hits you with an attack, you hear a sound effect and the name of your attacker flashes on your screen. You can hit them back, but it takes timing since the card randomly targets your victims for you. Yoshi's Cookie Game Boy looks like it might have the sugar to give the NES version a toothache. Now we don't need to look at the trick strategies. Street Fighter II Champion Edition, Genesis Previews. It's fine. It's a Genesis game. Ooh, this game looks cool though. Maybe I should check it out. Rolling Thunder fans know what they like. Sharp shoot and scoot action, crispy moving graphics, and doors, lots of doors. They get that and a teeny bit more in Rolling Thunder 3. Albatross and Leia took a vacation from the SCART, but Agent J's stalwart stand-in. This game has hidden levels, and like other RT adventures, you can input passwords to change game configs, such as the number of lives Jay has. The third time may not be a complete charm, but who wants an incomplete set? If that's pistol in your right hand, a door handle in your left hand, and a Geldra robot in your face, this must be Rolling Thunder 3 by Namco. This capable installment of the classic Shoot to Thrill series offers run-and-shoot gameplay, graphics, and bad guys that will be old hat to Rolling Thunder vets. Thunder on a Roll. Like its predecessors, Rolling Thunder 3 dishes out thumb-burning, multi-scrolling run-and-gun action. Agents Albatross and Leia are off chasing Gimdo, leader of Geldra, so you play Agent J in the side-view single-player cart. Your nemesis is a green-skinned, pointy-eared Geldra freak named Dread. He wears a classy uniform, but his face, ugh. As usual, you start out armed with a pistol and a knife. You must be quick on the draw as you march into Geldra-held territory, where robo-assassins lie in ambush throughout the multi-tiered areas. You pop into and out of the famous Rolling Thunder revolving doors, which hide ammo, life power, and bad guys behind them. As in the other Rolling Thunder games, your rewards and the boss antagonists are few and far between. Rolling Thunder 3 offers 10 regular rounds and 3 hidden mini-rounds. Your mission takes you to Las Vegas, Easter Island, Geldra's underground base, and the Castle of Dread. You also race to the death across the Pacific Ocean and ride an airliner to take out skyjackers at 30,000 feet. Passwords will keep you on pace to victory. The skills level preset in normal, which is no problemo for RT vets. Beat the game, and as in RT2, you enter the second quest. Here the challenge pumps up considerably. The rounds are the same, but the bad guys take more hits. Overall, the graphics and sound are standard RT issue. The characters and bosses look good and move crisply. The backgrounds are scenic if unremarkable. The cinema scenes feature Japanese-style cartoony drama. Sound effects do their job in pitching in with ear-shattering gun blasts and an agonizing scream whenever Jay loses a life. Rolling in with the new. Innovations to this RT adventure include 2 new moves, a cache of 9 special weapons, and 2 vehicle rounds. If that doesn't set your world on fire, too bad. Remaining the same is the name of this game. The new moves are Jump and Shoot and the Angle Shot. Jump and Shoot is a long-awaited addition. The cool Angle Shot, which enables you to shoot up at a 45-degree angle, nicely multiplies the precision sharpshooting challenges that made Rolling Thunder famous. Rolling Thunder 3 even enables gunners to roll their own weapons, which adds a nice thought-provoking bit of strategy to the game. Once you use it, you lose it. At the start of each round, the special weapon screens presents 9 instruments of destruction, including a laser, a fire gun, and hand grenades. Of course, some weapons are better suited for certain rounds than others. The 2 vehicle rounds are a great idea and they're good looking, but they're easy, almost gratuitous additions. You ride a motorcycle and a jet ski, but you merely slide forwards, backwards, and side to side, positioning yourself for an easy pistol shot at a Galdrous rider's back. Happiness is a warm gun. The Rolling Thunder series has hit upon a video game formula that works. Rolling Thunder 3 falls nicely in line with its predecessors. Despite a lack of pizzazz, the RT hardcore will be satisfied and the cart will treat you to a few surprises. Passwords if you discover them, change some game configurations, and add new characters. With only a few additions, Rolling Thunder just keeps rolling along. Graphics 4, sound 3.5, controls 4, fun factor 4 out of 5, challenge adjustable. Sorcerer's Kingdom. Oh, this looks cool. This looks like a RPG. For quite some time, Genesis RPG fans have been thirsting for a good solid roleplay adventure. Sorcerer's Kingdom by Treco isn't the perfect quest, but it will temporarily satisfy the wanderlust of most electronic adventurers. Kingdom for sale. Step into the shoes of a young resident of Landale Kingdom. Your father's been missing since he left some time ago on an evil fighting quest. With permission from the king, you set out in search of your missing padre. During your hunt through 7 geographical regions, you get help from 3 companions you meet along the way. Sorcerer's Kingdom 1 player, 3/4 overhead view gameplay is standard RPG with a few minor improvements. During your adventure, you and each member of your fighting party can advance to a different skill level, 8 possible ranks, by building up experience points in battle and earning new magic spells, 36 spells in all. During battle, you always get to inflict the first hits on your foes, and you have unlimited time to decide how to slay them. Even better, fighting takes place in a real time, and never swaps over to a separate battle screen. You can move your characters around to give them better strategic positions before and during a conflict. The game's graphics are good but not exceptional, and these look similar to other Japanese roleplay titles. The towns, villages, and character sprites are larger than average, even during combat, but they are somewhat blocky and cartoony. The mazes are par for the course, and the monsters range from small to quite large. The sounds will take you for a stroll down memory lane. The game's 2 lead tunes are taken straight from hit RPGs of the past. A little originality would have been nice. On the upside, the sound effects that accompany most of the magic are fantastic. Deja vu. Although there is nothing really original in Sorcerer's Kingdom, it feels good to wander down a familiar path. The battle changes in particular make the effort of building up experience points less painful. Were it not for the music, this title would get an instant recommendation. Still, all in all, it's a kingdom most RPG lovers will enjoy conquering. Graphics 4, sound 3, controls 5, fun factor 4 out of 5, challenge intermediate. Oh man, it's a shame Jason is not for RPGs and stuff, because this looks pretty cool and I wouldn't mind checking it out. Jeopardy. Why would I want to play Jeopardy? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this is fine. Splatterhouse 3. Oh, guess what? It's another beat 'em up on Genesis. Sega CD. Jason doesn't even have one of these, so. Ooh, Super NES Pro Review. WWF Royal Rumble. The WWF is back in town in an all-out, eye-gouging, back-breaking SNES brawl. If you thought you'd seen it all in wrestling games, you'd better sit down. This WWF cart is going to pin you to the mat and make you cry uncle. Does your wrestler have what it takes to go the distance and whip the opposition? Or is he just another lowly bum trying to squeeze a comeback out of nothing? To find out, fight 12 of the WWF's best for your chance to get your name into the record books as the Master of Disaster, the Sultan of Slam, the Prince of Pins. WWF Royal Rumble is a 1 or 2 player game that pushes the wrestling envelope. Smooth moves and quick action make this one of the best wrestling games for any system. No wrestle for the wicked. All of your favorite WWF grapple gurus are represented here in gorgeous color, and you have an elevated ringside view of the action. You can pick from 12 wrestlers, a first for wrestling carts, including Ric Flair, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Lex Luger, Razor Ramon, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, and the $1 Million Man, and more. Each wrestler comes with his own patented super move, like The Undertaker's Tombstone Piledriver, Bret Hart's Sharpshooter, or Tatanka's Reverse Fallaway Slam. Throw the man down. WWF has more wrestling options than any cart to date. Play one player against the computer, one player against another player, a 2 or 3 wrestler tag team against human opponents or the computer, or a 2 or 3 player tag team cooperative against the computer. You can also participate in the Royal Rumble, an all-out free-for-all where all 12 wrestlers jump into the action at once. The Rumble is a survival of the fittest competition. The last wrestler left standing wins. You can set the Royal Rumble's difficulty from 1 to 10, and there's a skill tournament where you literally climb the ropes to the championship belt. Oh, that's a shame though. Like, Royal Rumble are supposed to have 30 wrestlers. I guess if they only have 12, they can only have 12, but still, that's lame. You can also set the game for a one-fall match with a referee, or go for a brawl without a referee, meaning that eye gouging and choking are allowed. In a one-fall match, you must pin your opponent to win. In a brawl, you just beat the heck out of his life bar. Once you get the controls down, WWF's single-person gameplay is pretty good. Player against player is much harder to fight, since the grappling requires fast thumbs and quick reflexes. If both players possess those qualities, then you're in for a long night. Slam Bam graphics. WWF's graphics and sound are simply outstanding. The digitized wrestler pics at the beginning of the game are crystal clear and photo sharp. Each sprite moves cleanly and executes the wrestling moves with the greatest of ease. Even the audience looks real. The only music is the opening theme. There are, however, great sound effects, like background sounds that change with each player. You'll also find standard wrestler grunts, groans, and bone cracks. Wrestle assured. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, there's a lot to like about WWF Royal Rumble. Hot and sweaty graphics and sound, solid gameplay, and a variety of play options make this the best wrestling game to date. WWF fans and armchair wrestler alike will want to pin this one to the mat. Graphics 4.5, sound 4, control 4, fun factor 4.5 out of 5, difficulty adjustable. Oh, this one looks cool. Maybe I should, rent it for the sleepover or something. Assuming they have it. Available June, yeah. Ooh, that might be tight for the block for the... Ooh, that might be tight for the video store in town. I hope they have it, because, yeah, that'd be pretty dope. Aliens vs. Predator. In the year 2493, the colonists of New Shanghai found the aliens, and they weren't very neighborly. In the side-scrolling fighting game, the colonists sent out an emergency distress signal, which was intercepted by an extraterrestrial group of hunters, the Predators. As a predator, you've just found the perfect prey in this one-player monster versus monster beat-em-up. Activision's Alien vs. Predator is a monster-mashing beat-em-up where you play the Predator. Unlike Ripley, you can't just rely on guns to fight the acid blood terrors. Instead, you must also use your praying strength to make him scream. Don't worry, although the alien hordes are plentiful, you're more than a match for them. Night of the Hunter. On planetoid LV-426, the six-man crew of spaceship unearthed the eggs of a terrible parasitic creature, the alien. Soon the crew was missing and the cargo was lost. Now a group of colonists on New Shanghai are under alien attack. They've sent out an emergency distress signal, which has been intercepted by a race of extraterrestrial hunters known as the Predators. The Predators live to hunt, and now they believe they've found the perfect prey. Aliens vs. Predator is a one-player side-scrolling punch-and-kick fiesta where you must hunt down and destroy aliens to gain honor among your fellow Predators. Traveling through 10 levels of vermin-infested corridors, you hunt through a city, the countryside, the spaceport, the space transport, and finally an alien world in your final showdown against the alien mother. Your hunting skills had better be as sharp as your opponent's teeth, because you'll face alien drones, warriors, eggs complete with facehuggers, chest bursters, guardians, and the alien queen. Some aliens use acid as a defensive weapon, some skitter across the floor to attack you, and others resort to their molars to mollify you. Predator power. Take heart, or the aliens will, because you have some pretty mean weapons yourself. You are equipped with a shoulder-mounted laser cannon, which can fire light, medium, or screen-clearing heavy laser bolts, depending on how long you hold down the fire button. You can also pick up a disc weapon, which shoots deadly discs into your foes, or a Predator spear, which takes out whole lines of aliens. You also have some basic fighting moves, like an elbow punch maneuver and a spinning kick. Your throw move and a sliding kick are useful in tight situations, too. To satisfy your extraterrestrial hunger and to help you defeat your foes, you can pick up Rent Meat, which serves some power and extends your life gauge, and Ptera Meat replenishes you. You can also find an invisibility shield and an energy-restoring blue bottle. Cinema Fantastique. Alien vs. Predator looks great. The detailed backgrounds are eerie and they have a definite otherworldly feel to them. Although the Predator and the aliens are also well drawn, the confined depth of animation sometimes misleads you into thinking you have an alien in your laser sights, when in reality the alien is a little to the right or left of your sight. The well-drawn cinematic sequences between action scenes are a real help. These scenes let you know what's going on and what's coming up. Kudos to the artist for these gorgeous illustrations. They say no one can hear you scream in space, which is a good thing, since the music in this cart may drive you to the point. The sound effects are okay though, with each punch registering a successful outcry. Fanged Fun. The sheer number of aliens this card throws at you makes it hard to qualify it as an intermediate game, but Aliens vs. Predator may seem pretty linear to most experienced gamers. The one-dimensional gameplay is pretty simple. Basically, it's funnel fight and costume. However, fans of the movies and the comic book series may find enough here to quench their thirst. If you suffer from a bad case of xenophobia, look it up, Junior. This game's got the cure for what's alien you. I don't quite understand what the last sentence is about, but... Graphics 4, sound 3.5, control 4, fun factor 4.5 out of 5, difficulty intermediate. Maybe this is a game that I should rent for the sleepover. Ooh, I should definitely call Nick and ask him to bring some games and ask John to do the same. It'd be pretty cool to all play Star Fox. And this looks like a bit of a kiddie platform. Looks pretty good, though. Now appearing on your SNES straight from his hit cartoon show, the purple shape-changing powerhouse with the puny neck, Widget. Power up your cartoon pal to punch through more than 11 unique levels of action and adventure. Pop Super Widget into your SNES and prepare for lots of laugh. This action-adventure carts, unusual scenes, and funny animation will keep a smile on your face. You begin as Widget the Apprentice World Watcher. Your goal is to earn enough experience points to graduate to full World Watcher status. To earn your points, you take on various missions, where you rescue friends and planets in danger and battle many bogus bosses. The Spice of Life. Variety is the name of Widget's game. You're assigned 11 missions on bizarre worlds, like the Planet of Seven Colors, Agua, and Wonderland. You travel over land and sea, underwater, across the moon, and through volcanic caverns. You'll find even more spicy variety in the game's layout. Some of the levels are side-scrolling, while others are multi-scrolling. Some levels have several areas, while others are just one large map. Bonus levels are also scattered throughout the game. Plus, when you complete all 11 levels and become a full world watcher, you're treated to 6 more challenges featuring your bus buddies from the planet's past. 2-button control smoothly accomplishes Widget's simple jump and fire moves. No fancy combo, big guns, just Widget and his wonderful aliases. Power-ups along the way give Widget 11 cool personalities, each with its own skills to help him successfully complete his assigned missions. Super Widget keeps beginners moving through the early levels with just enough frustration to make it interesting. You only get 3 continues, but enough life-buying Widget coins are scattered throughout to keep you in the game. However, the levels do get harder. There are enough challenging levels, areas, bosses, and bonus rooms to keep even advanced gamers satisfied for a long while. Unfortunately, Widget doesn't have a life bar, so you'll die often and die suddenly. Scuba-Doo. In this game, you're rewarded for watching closely. Cool graphic details, from Mega Widget's little scuba mask to Spider Widget's grumpy expression, make this game a blast. Funny animations, colorful images, smoothly scrolling backgrounds, and unique scenery pop this card to the top of the action-adventure heap. Watch out, cuz Widget really wails. Graphics 4.5, Sound 4, Control 5, Fun Factor 4.5 out of 5, Challenge Advanced. Gamepro Strategy Guide presents Super Star Wars. Oh, there's a couple of cheats to start. Boo. Worm your way in. Oh, look at the Sarlacc pit monster. That's cool. And then you're riding your land speeder. Climbing into the sand crawler. And you still haven't done Med Ben Kenobi at this time? Damn. Chewbacca. Oh, and that was it? Yeah. But this is only like half the game or something. Just don't smile when they say you're grounded. Well, it really depends if you have enough batteries on that Game Boy, huh? Run Saber. Meh. Looks mid. Meh. Cool world. Cool graphics, but it looks good. Let's read through it. Ocean consistently makes challenging games, and Cool World for the SNES is no exception. Surviving this adventure's 5 stages takes an affinity for scavenger hunts. Although the game's incredible graphics are a feast for the eyes, the unresponsive controls are totally uncool. Use these hints as a head start from at the beginning of the game. What? Unresponsive controls, but 5 out of 5? That's weird. Cool World for the Super Nintendo roughly follows the movie storyline, and the colorful graphics give it the same otherworldly feel. This game's high challenge level, though, may make some gamers feel decidedly uncool. Hollywood if she could. In this world, you're Jake, the cartoonist creator of Cool World. Holly is a toon who's using her feminine wiles to get Jake to help her become human. To accomplish this, Jake must find her and bring her to the top of the Ocean Hotel. To escape Cool World's 5 multi-scrolling stages, you have to battle cartoon bullies and pick up objects in a certain order. Your only weapon is a mean stretching arm that wears a boxing glove and enables you to punch out even the meanest of toons from a safe distance. The arm also enables you to climb to higher areas. Cruel World. Escaping from this world of make-believe is extremely tough. You can either knock the tunes out with your extendable boxing glove or churn them by giving them the right item, such as Coke, candy, or flowers. Since you can only carry one item at a time, the difficulty lies in knowing what to pick up, when, and who to give it to. You can push down bomb detonators to reveal hints, but some may blow up in your face. If you can't find the items you need, you can buy it or trade it in the pawn shop using the nickels and candy you've picked up along the way. Cool World's slow-to-respond controls and 3 meager continues make this adventure tough. In addition, controls are also awkward. You press Y to jump and B to punch. This would work better the other way around. Cool World's colorful graphics and hip music are hot. The cartoon characters are good-looking replicas of the big screen's animations. The background and the foreground capture the nighttime mood of the movie and feature the same weird-looking buildings. As for the music, it's soft and jazzy. Cruel but cool. If you're an advanced gamer that likes to think as well as shoot, you might want to tune in to Cool World. It still feels like this rating does not match what they're saying. Maybe they're not very reliable in their ratings. It also feels like there's too many good games. And they're very picky about the sound. A lot of these games get lower sound scores, and everything else gets very high. Oh yeah, what is this Mario's missing? We've read about it before. Everybody knows Mario, Luigi, and the rest of the Mario Brothers regular. Nobody's gonna be surprised to hear that they've got a new game for the Super Nintendo, but everyone's gonna be surprised when they see just what kind of game it is. Can you spell EDUCATIONAL? Okay, so education is a dirty word for most gamers. Education will equal boring, right? Well, in this case, the answer is yes and no. Mario's missing. Bowser sent an army of Koopas across a side-scrolling world to snatch priceless artifacts. Even worse, they kidnapped Mario. In this one-player educational adventure, you're Luigi. With Yoshi in tow, you crisscross the world in search of Mario and the missing artifacts. As you search, you get to learn a thing or two about history and geography. Plumbing the portals. Where do you begin? You start your search by sneaking into the portals of Bowser's lair, which zaps you to various cities across the world. You then roam the city streets looking for renegade Koopas. When you hop on a Koopa, it sometimes cuffs up an artifact. You're also stuck to people you meet in the streets to figure out where in the world you are. Then use your globulator to call Yoshi and guide him to that locale on a world map. Once on board Yoshi, you ride on, returning to the missing artifacts to their rightful places throughout the city. To replace each artifact to its proper place, you must answer a question about it. Then if you're correct, leave the portal and seal it up. As for points, you earn them based on how long it took you to clean up the problems in each city. Password enables you to continue from the last portal you've cleared. The game ends when all portals are sealed and Mario is rescued. Mario misses the mark, graphics and sound. The graphics and sound in Mario's Missing are primitive by Mario standards. The sprites are small and simple with minimal animation, and the backgrounds have nowhere near the graphic complexity of those found in Super Mario World. The soundtrack is merely the same tune played over and over with the slight ethnic touches for each locale. Mario's Missing is geared for gamers aged 8 and up. None of the Koopas you encounter along the way will do you any damage, so the game is totally won or lost on brain power. The answers to the questions about the various artifacts are present in the brochures you find. Anyone who can read can easily find the answers to the question. Although the interface is a simple 2-button job with different menu options, it's complicated enough to require a good read of the manual. Mario earns C+. Successful educational games sneak their learning in with the fun. Mario's Missing teaches factual information, but isn't as effective as simulation-style educational products like SimCity, where you learn by doing. Similarly, it's not as sophisticated as Carmen Sandiego, which is going to earn this game a poor grade on most gamers' report cards. However, if you gotta learn your history and geography, doing it with Mario is more fun than reading a textbook. Try it, you might like it. Graphics 3.5, sound 3.5, control 4, fun factor 3.5 out of 5, challenge, beginner. Yeah, these scores seem way too high. Way too high. I mean, Big Nose freaks out. No thank you. Super CD Pro Review. What even is a Super CD? Turbo Chip Pro Review. Oh, are these like TurboGrafx 16 and TurboGrafx CD or something? That's probably what they are. Man, I wish I knew somebody who had a TurboGrafx 16. It's so expensive. Overseas prospects. Populous 2. If your need to breed extends beyond Sim and Super Famicom Insect World, check out Populous 2 by Imagineer. As in Populous, you play God through an industrious and faithful group of humanoid followers. Using your almighty powers, you enable them to go forth, multiply, and conquer worlds in your name. This time you're not just any god, you're a Greek god straight from Greek mythology. As one of the many children of Zeus, the All-Father, you must earn your rightful place among the gods on Mount Olympus by defeating divine opponents who rule the world of Populous 2. In order to exert your omniscient power, you must help your followers overrun the world of other gods, which are populated by your loyal servants. You conduct this titanic struggle by causing natural disasters to fall on your opposing gods' earthbound populaces, or by sending armies in your name to convert the wayward sheep over to your fold. With extreme prejudice, of course. Additionally, your people must find habitable land to manipulate and grow crops. They must create an environment of survival and prosperity. With your guidance, they'll build villages, cities, and great civilizations, which in turn helps you climb up the Olympic ladder. Populous 2 features the same imaginative, 3/4 overhead view and 3D graphics that made the original Populous so popular. The appropriately godlike view of the action encompasses the main playing surface, which resembles a board game floating in outer space. People, structures, and terrain scroll across the surface as you move your view around the world. This time, there is also a far-out floating mini-board that displays a satellite view of the section of the world that you're currently manipulating. The game smacks slightly of religious fanaticism, but it's fun religious fanaticism. Populous 2 may just make you a believer out of you yet. What is this for, though? They did not say platform. It would be cool. I hope it comes to the Super Nintendo. PC Engine Duo R. Second generation of their integrated Edu card turbo chip and CD-ROM game system. $350. I guess it's cheaper than the Duo? Still too expensive for mom and dad to get it for me for Christmas. Yeah. Hear the sound razor-sharp adamantium claws make as they extract their revenge. X-Men are dope. Sports. Genesis. Nintendo. Meh. It's baseball. It's bases loaded. Star Trek The Next Generation for Game Boy Pro review. Yeah, this looks too complex. Probably cool, but just a little too much for me. Darkwing Duck, though. This looks dope. Just as similar as Darkwing's Game Boy card to the original NES version. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, so check out the side-by-side comparison. Capcom rebuilt a few of the levels with new floor plans, but otherwise the faithful black and white translation. That hip crime-fighting duck, Darkwing, has flown from Disney's cartoon show and is due to arrive on your Game Boy any day, courtesy of Capcom. DW's new cart is every bit as good as his previous appearance on the NES. See Pro Review May 92. Scenes of the crime. Darkwing, I guess that's what that means, tracks foul Slayer's crime waves through 7 sharp-looking levels into the heart of St. Canard City. The distinctive side-view graphics are top-notch, but occasionally hard to see. The background tunes are somewhat twangy, but you recognize the cool theme song. Foul's master villains, Quackerjack, Wolf Duck, the Liquidator, Brushroot, Megavolt, Moriarty, and Stillbeak, are bad news for the sink on our citizens, but good news for unemployed superheroes. While the bosses are easily recognizable to fans of the TV show, their henchmen are run-of-the-mill video game enemies. Bats, turtles, beetles, alligators, weasels, and the like. The cart's tough, but unlimited continues make it beatable. He swoops out of the shadows. Most ducks aren't too agile, but Darkwing's a nimble crime stopper. His main tool of the trade is a gas gun, but he can find arrow, thunder, and heavy gas pistol power-ups for temporary use. Darkwing can leap, grab onto hooks, and pull himself up to ledges. He can also unfurl his cape as a defense mechanism. The control is precise, much less clumsy than what you'd expect from a web-footed duck. A bill of goods. Darkwing is essentially another formula game. It follows the standard run, jump, shoot, and duck action standards established by dozens of carts, such as Capcom's own Mega Man, DuckTales, and Chip 'n Dale games. However, the solid graphics, Darkwing cool moves, and nasty villains make a fun formula to swallow. If you already bagged this bird on your 8-bit, the GB card will give you a good yawn. If you've yet to tangle with Foul, though, there's no time like the present. Graphics 4.5, sound 4, control 5, fun factor 4.5 out of 5, challenge advanced. Oh, this is a Game Gear game. Yeah, I think this is the same as the Master System game that I've seen at Jason's place. I guess it's kind of the same way that they bring Mega Man to Game Boy. Miracle, a piano for Genesis? That's crazy. Yeah, we're good. Short Pro Shots. Sneak peek of the hot games appearing in June at the Summer Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago, Illinois. Let's see, what's good? Not much, it looks like, huh? Ooh, Jurassic Park for the NES. Yeah, but it doesn't look great. Super Empire Strikes Back. Oh, sweet. Whoa, is that Wampa? They made her so big. And Mega Man is coming to Super Nintendo. What? Whoa. Oh, just here like passwords and codes and things. Do we have any of these? 99 Labs in Super Mario Land 2. Man, whatever. We need Game Genie for these ones. Not helpful. Pro News. Street Fighter 2 Turbo coming to Super Nintendo in Japan. Hot on the heels of Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition for the Genesis, see page 26, Capcom has announced plan to release Street Fighter 2 Turbo later this year for Japan's Super Famicom system based on the arcade... For Japan's Super Famicom system. Based on the arcade game, Street Fighter 2 Turbo offers all the features of the Champion Edition, including the ability to play as the boss characters. Turbo also boosts gameplay speed by approximately 15% and adds new special moves for each World Warrior, such as Chun-Li Fireball, Dhalsim's Disappear, and Ryu's Mid-Air Hurricane Kick. Capcom is considering releasing a Super NES version of their same cartridge in North America. Visions for Virtual Reality. Visions of Reality is a new company with plans for a virtual reality arcade system. Based in San Francisco, California, this outfit has allied itself with Kaiser Electro-Optic Inc. and the Sense8 Corporation. Kaeser Electro-Optic is a leading manufacturer of optical systems for cockpit displays and for head-mounted displays in military jets and flight simulators. Sense 8 is a pioneer in virtual reality software. Yeah, whatever. That's probably going to be so expensive if it comes out. Out of my league. Not any secret at EA. Electronic Arts is so confident that Mutant League Football will knock the video game sports world on its rear, it has decided to make the Rogue League legit by announcing a Mutant League sports product line. Already in the Renegade rank is Mutant League Hockey. See the sports page this issue. After that, there's a rip-roaring motorcycle kart online, tentatively titled Mutant Speed Demons. EA will likely push this rad and bad philosophy onto other titles as well. Look for another EA product line with an attitude to appear around the end of the year. Mutant League Hockey? Sports page? We kind of glanced over it, but I did not see it. Pieces loaded 4. Interview with Tony La Russa. Oh, it's probably this, huh? Yeah, these are just news. Yeah, whatever. If I can see the game, then the game doesn't exist. Shaquille O'Neal and Bill Walsh lead EA Sports. EA Sports, the athletic division of Electronic Arts, has made a deal with newly signed NBA star Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq will go head-to-head with Michael Jordan in an upcoming basketball game. This pro game will play like Jordan vs. Bird, arguably the game that set EA on its award-winning sports path. The Shaq attack will also be featured in several other EA games. As reported in this issue's sports page, Bill Walsh, former San Francisco 49ers coach, current Stanford University head football coach, and NFL Hall of Famer, is joining the EA Sports team. Bill Walsh Collegiate Football will use the football engine that's solely different from John Madden's football. The card will feature 24 NCAA gridiron teams, even though it will not support an NCAA license. Team performance will be based on 92 stats. Additionally, the card will contain 24 famous college teams from past seasons, spanning the years from 79 to 91. In addition to overseeing the finer football points of the game, Walsh will continue scouting reports on each team. The reports will be assembled by his legion of analysts. Also coming from EA Sports are sequels to some perennial Genesis and SNES mega hits. Look for John Madden 94, NHLPA 94, and NBA 94 by the end of the year. EA has also a new basketball game on deck, and their soccer and tennis games are preparing to break into the limelight as well. The Belmonts find a new home. Castlevania is coming to the Genesis. What? Konami's famous vampire stalking action-adventure game will star the same characters and feature a storyline based on the game that made famous in the NES and Super NES. The Genesis version, however, will be a completely new adventure. Rumor also has it there's a Mega Drive CD version haunting the nighttime screens in Japan. Look for the Genesis game to surface in the fourth quarter of 93. Could Castlevania 5 for the SNES be far behind? It will materialize in 93, says Konami. Whoa. That's huge. Dive in with Ocean of America. Ocean of America is set to launch 2 games that coincide with the release of hot summer movies Jurassic Park and Dennis the Menace. In June, NES and Game Boy versions of both games will be released, followed by SNES versions in the fall. Ocean's other hot movie license is Addams Family 2. The movie will be released in late 93 and stars the original cast from the first flick. Look for NES, Game Boy, and SNES versions of Addams Family 2 in late 93 or early 94. Game Genie stays out of the bottle. Although Nintendo of America continues to try and stop the sales of Galoo's Game Genie, it looks like the popular product is here to stay. In a March decision, the US Supreme Court rejected Nintendo's appeal of a lower court decision that allowed Galoob to sell the Genie. Sales of the Game Genie in 92 jumped to 65 million, up from the 29 million earned in 91. Pump it up. In mid-March, Prudential Equity announced an $11 million capital investment in Accolade. Accolade will use the cash infusion to develop a new line of games, tentatively called Games with Personality. Their personality roundup will include games like Jack Nicklaus Power Challenge Golf, Brett Hall Hockey, Pele Soccer, Mike Ditka Football, All Michaels announces Hardball, and Bubsy the Bobcat. Games for both personal computers and video game formats are in the work. that's Goofy. Goofy, longtime Canyon star of Disney fame, is making his video debut on several different platforms. Capcom's been working on Goof Troop, an SNES roleplay adventure due out this summer. Absolute also announced they're bringing the Captain of Clumsiness to the Sega Genesis. Disney always works closely with its licensees to ensure that any product featuring a Disney character is up to their tough standards, and Disney licensed titles to date have been top-notch. Absolute plans to continue in this tradition and hopes to make their game, well, goofy. Look for hilarious misadventures, fumbling blunders, and Goofy's usual chaos. You'll have to wait until November to see this one in the store. Gosh darn it! In case you haven't heard, there's something cool happening at Blockbuster Video. Beginning in late June '93, you're going to get more than a great game when you rent a card at Blockbuster. With every video game rental, customers will receive a Team Blockbuster trading card. On the cards, you'll find hot information on the most popular games out there, including gameplay tips. Collect all the cards, get a complete set, trade them with your friends, and become a card-carrying member of Team Blockbuster. You can order back issues. So why would I, since they're all here in the library? Man, libraries are great. Oh, and looks like that's the end of the magazine. Yeah. Not as cool as Computer Gaming World or video games and computer entertainment, but still pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Having enjoyed his time in the chilled library, Timmy was itching to get back home and do some playing. He put the magazine back in his place, then followed Mr. Potter's direction to the stack that he hoped would contain the solution to all of his Shadowgate problems. As it happens, Timmy was in luck. Not only did he find the hint book for Shadowgate, but also the one for Ultima Underworld that Nick wasn't able to bring him the other day. He grabbed both and made his way back to Mr. Potter's desk.
Hello, young Timmy. Checking out some books? Indeed, Mr. Potter. Can I please borrow these 2 hint books? Here's my library card. Why, certainly. Let me just get the card from inside the books and add your library number to the list. There, these 2 books are both due back on the 19th of July. Remember that if you need more time, we might be able to extend your loan, as long as nobody's put the book on hold. But you still need to let me know. Do I need to come in person? Oh, if you call the library at 555-2665 a couple days before the books are due, I can let you know if there is a hold on it and whether you need to return it or I can extend it. Phone number is easy to remember. It's 555-BOOK. You know, like 555-book. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm sure I won't forget. Of course, Timmy. Have a good day. And be mindful of this heat. Bye, Mr. Potter.
Shouts Timmy halfway out the door. He then hops onto his bike and heads straight home, excited to use the knowledge he borrowed to make some progress in Shadowgate.